So I'm finally ready to start the Well of Ascension, book 2 of the Mistborn trilogy, and since I vlogged the first one, I figured I'd vlog the second one. Like I said in my Mistborn vlog, was disappointed by the first book, I think just because there was so much hype around it, and it was my first Brandon Sanderson, and I was just not prepared for all of his quirks as an author, but now I feel much more prepared, and I have a lot lower expectations for book 2, so I'm excited to get into it. I think I'm going to update around every 100 pages, so there's not like an enormous amount of clips, but that is what we're doing. So stick around if you want to hear my thoughts on book 2, Well of Ascension, Mistborn, all that fun stuff. Okay, so I read to page 150 last night, and I have lots of thoughts already. I'm tabbing as I go along, but essentially I'm having the same problems with this book that I had with the first book. Sanderson is not a very, I'm trying to think of like the best way to say this. He's not a very subtle author. His world building's great, his plots are great, his storylines are great, but as far as actually telling those stories, I want a little bit more subtlety. I want a little bit more nuance to the way he's telling the story, and not so much just like blatant, this is what's happening. I am, however, loving a couple of things that are happening in this book when it comes to like plot and storyline and world building. The magic system is growing, we're learning more about this like missing alloy, that's what it's called, right? An alloy that she can use. We're learning about there's this mysterious Mistborn who's running around the city and she's sparring with him. That's interesting. And then there's this like mist creature, and the mists are coming in during the day, and there's a whole mystery with that, and that's interesting. So there's interesting things happening as far as the magic system goes. And then when it comes to this idea of they freed everyone from the Lord Ruler, right? They beat the bad guy. Now they're having to see the actual repercussions of that, and not everything is hunky-dory. In fact, everything kind of sucks. It might almost be worse than when the Lord Ruler was there for everyone except the Ska. So that is also interesting. I am loving that. I'm loving the magic system increases. Vin and Ellen's relationship, I am not super on board with, because all of their relationship building happened during the year that because book 2 is a year after book 1, happened during that year that we don't have, that's a missing year. And beyond that, they seem to know each other so very well. I feel like I want more relationship building from them, but we're not going to get it because it all happened in the previous year. And that's not what the story's about, right? This isn't a romance. This is a fantasy, and there's a lot going on. Thirdly, where was I going? Oh, characters. I am finally seeing this full-fledged character development that everyone talks about Sanderson having. It was completely, in my opinion, missing from the first book, but now in the second book, we're getting more character development with Vin and with Ellen specifically. Not really much else. Not really a lot of other characters were in their heads, but for those two characters specifically, I do feel like we're finally getting full-fledged characters and not just the whole two-sided thing that I talked about in my Mistborn vlog. So I don't know when I'll get to page 200, but when I do, I'll let you know, and we'll go from there. To get back into the Well of Ascension, I've got some fantasy lo-fi going on in the background with the Christmas tree, of course, but I wanted to read a couple of these parts that I talked about in that last clip to kind of put some meat on what I'm actually talking about and what I'm describing as what I'm disliking. Oh, okay, so I found a great one, and this was actually the first red tab that I put in this book. It's on page 10. It's like right off the bat. Vin is in this kind of grudge match with a bunch of assassins that were sent into the city to kill Ellen, and she's like going through her inner monologue while she's fighting them, and she says in her head, "Let them think they have me trapped," she thought, crouching in the center of the street. The thugs approached a little more confidently. "Yes," Vin thought, "I know what you're thinking. This is the Mistborn who killed the Lord Ruler? This scrawny thing? Can it be possible? I wonder the same thing myself." And it's just, something about that really bugs me and makes me feel as if he's talking down to me. Like, I couldn't pick up on it on my own, that she questions her abilities and how she was able to actually overtake the Lord of Ruler, which I appreciate because I was asking the same things at the end of book 1. But just the conversation of, like, she's literally telling us what they're thinking and then literally telling us what she's thinking. And I don't know, something about that was just off-putting to me, and it continues to happen of just, he's, instead of making the subtle choice where he subtly alludes to whatever he's thinking about or wanting us to know, he just tells us outright, and it kind of makes me feel like he thinks I'm stupid, and I don't like authors to make me feel stupid because I think I'm kind of smart sometimes, especially when I'm reading. So I don't know, that's just an example quickly. I'm going to get back into it, read pages 100 through 200 before I see you again. Okay, I finally made it to page 200, and I'm just a mix of conversations and thoughts every time I get to a stopping point. I've stopped kind of marking all of the times where I'm annoyed by the lack of subtlety, because that would be this whole book. However, as you can see, there are a lot more reds than there are greens or yellows, and that is because I found a new thing to be annoyed at, and that is Ellen's treatment of Vin, and not in the way that Zane, I just met Zane, not in the way that Zane implies that he uses her, but more in the way of, like, he panders to her and he's a sexist. Just, I need to have these examples ready to go. Oh, she's worried about the deepness, right? She's like, I kind of think this big bad thing's gonna come back and hurt us, and, like, I kind of think this is something we should research. And he's like, oh, you're so paranoid. It's adorable. And I'm like, no. She's a powerful Mistborn, obviously with some sort of skill and tie in a Destiny format where she's able to kill a Lord Ruler, right? Okay, so don't pander to her, and maybe be like, hey, if this is something you're concerned about, let's look into it together. I understand he's under siege and has a lot of pressure going on, but you gotta treat your lady better than that. And it was annoying. I think Sazed is, that's how I say his name, Sazed, is officially my favorite character of the series. And I hate myself because Zane shows up, and this series gets compared to YA all the time, so I'm like, oh, here's our love triangle, but also, like, I'm enjoying it. Like, I enjoy the love triangle, and I enjoy the kind of contrast and conflict that's happening here between Zane and Elend and her Mistborn tendencies, like who she is as a Mistborn and who she is as a woman who wants to serve her people, and I enjoy that. I liked the conversation about, like, the Khandra and their contract and what that makes them as creatures. I just love Sazed and, like, what he's discovering as he's out and about. Marsh just left him, so I don't know what's going on there, but he discovered, like, all the people that died because the mists were coming out, and I'm enjoying, like, we're going deeper and we're going deeper. I just want things to be moving faster because I know, like, the Sandalanche, however you say it, is coming, and so I want things to move quicker, and I'm 200 pages in and I'm just now getting invested. Like, I'm just now at the point where I'm like, I want to put this book down, and I want that the whole time because I know he can give that to me the whole time. It's kind of annoying, but I'm enjoying it. I think maybe I need to, like, not do the tabbing because it kind of pulls me out of the story but then I don't have anything to say in the vlog, so maybe I just don't need to vlog Sanderson because that's how it makes me feel. I don't know, but I'm going to keep reading because, like I said, I just got interested. I don't think I'll get to 300 tonight, but, I mean, I'll update you when I get to 300. Popping back in. Why is Zane, I flipped to the next page and got a whole chapter on Zane. Why is Zane, like, the just general name that authors use to give to, like, bad boy brooding types? Also, like, I should have known. I should have known what was happening. I mean, it's a cool twist, and I did go, ah, but, like, I mean, he's the foil, and I like the insanity kind of thing going on, like the mental health conversations, and I like where it's going, but, like, I wish I'd read that chapter before I did my last update, because it informed a lot of what I just said. Anyways, okay, back in. At the page 300 check-in. I really don't have much to say because all the action is still rising. We're still learning things. The two things that are happening right now is Lord Set's daughter Alrianne, I don't know how you say her name, is super suspect, and I'm calling the spy thing even though they're playing it up a lot. So she's a spy, and Vin and Elend are just about to go into Strafe's camp and meet with him, and I'm nervous because I think bad things are going to happen, but it'll be fun to watch at the same time. Vin's doing her whole thing again where she's like, I like dresses. This makes me so girly. And I'm like, this is stupid. So I did some research today on like publication order of Brandon Sanderson's work so far, and this is only like the 3rd book that he published, so I need to give him a bit more grace as far as things like that, but it's annoying to read and it's hindering my reading experience, so I'm letting you know. I've pretty much stopped tabbing. I don't know if you can see, I have a couple of tabs in there, but I ran out of green tabs for the good stuff, and I don't know. There's not been anything different happening, so the stuff that I wasn't liking at the beginning is still happening, but there's not been new bad things happening. So that's my page 300 update. I'll see you at 400. To page 400, and then we took a break to go for a walk. I'm actually editing a video right now. I don't have much to say except I think that there's a lot more politics in this book than I was expecting. I kind of am ready for just a good old-fashioned quest. Hopefully that'll come in the 3rd book, but so much politics going on. I'm trying to think of anything else to say. That's all I got, I guess. So I'm not at the 500 page mark, but I am at like page 473. I just finished part 3, and rather than staying up to get to page 500 or like staying up all night to finish the book, because that would be like 6 a.m. and I have to work tomorrow, I just figured I would update you now because I'm finally at the point where I'm having strong feelings towards the characters that we're following and that I'm supposed to have strong feelings for. I really, really do not like Elend. I really do not like him. And that's just my personal feelings about it. However, he did just lose the vote for who should be king, and I did feel bad for him. But as a person, I do not like him, and I do not like him with Vin, and I really hope they break up. I don't think they're going to, but I really hope they do, because he does not deserve her, and she does not need to be so tied down to him. Like, she's so afraid of being alone again that she's tied himself to her with her loyalty, and she needs to like get over that shiznit, because it's I don't like it. I don't like reading it. I do love, I'm gonna call him Orsur, because that's how I'm reading it in my head, Orsur. Vin's doggy creature Chandra thing, her little doodad servant guy. I really like their relationship. I think it's adorable and I love it, and it makes me happy because it's like stereotypical girl and her dog, but like he's not a real dog, he's like a creature dude, and I'm a fan. So those are my updates. I'll probably read a lot tomorrow because I'm gonna want to finish the book like ASAP, because the Sanderlanche is starting to happen. I have like 330 pages left, so like the rising action is finally coming to like a crest, and it's just gonna be like uphill from here, and that's where I'm at, folks. Okay, so I just finished part 5, which is around the 600 page mark, and I'm going to take a break and make a cheese ball. But I feel like I finally have stuff to talk about, so I'm going to talk like while I get the stuff with the cheese ball ready. So just hang around and I'll talk as we go, I guess. Okay, so Zane convinced Vin to go to Set's palace and like do their attack stuff, and she killed about 300 men basically by herself, and it was supposed to be kind of like shocking for us and like a big deal and like, oh my gosh, what just happened? But it really didn't like bother me at all because I felt like I kind of knew where it was going. I did appreciate like getting to see her displays of power, like that was pretty awesome. I did not feel like her powerful mystic cosmic wonderfulness really fit her character, where she just kind of goes onto this other level, like she can go do the bad things without thinking that she's awesome, and so that was kind of weird. But then Zane came and tried to kill her, and I have so many thoughts about that situation. in book 1, Vin often talks about, in book 1, Vin often experiences, you can hear Lily in the background, experiences hearing her brother's voice in her mind at different points in time. And I remember reading that in book 1 and being like, that seems like it's a little too strong of a voice and too individual of a voice for it to be just in her head. So I was like, I think that's probably like either his ghost or some sort of spirit or some sort of control he left with her, but it's not just in her head, okay? And so then we meet Zane in this book, and he's like insane in his mind, and God talks to him and tells him to kill people, and like he shows up and he starts talking about that, and I'm like, oh, so this is the same thing that's talking to Vin from her brother's voice. So that's where I'm going with. I'm assuming it has something to do with the Mist spirit, and I'm assuming it happens to all Mistborn. Like, I would not say Zane and Ben are exceptions. I would say they're just part of the whole situation, and this is just part of what's going on. I did not think he was going to die, Zane. I thought she was going to be able to convince him, like, to come with them or something, and that was going to be a unique relationship dynamic. Not a love triangle, but a unique relationship dynamic between Zane and Elend and Vin as they go on their quest. But that did not happen, and that is okay. I also kind of suspected Orsur whatever, the new guy, the Khandra. I also suspected him at the beginning when they were trying to find the spy, but then he kind of like got rid of that. But it does make me sad because the Khandra she bonded with and connected with was not her Khandra. It was the spy. But that connection was still very important, as we saw, yada yada. I super did not like the little wedding ceremony that happened when Elend took her to Sazed. I feel like that was just kind of cheesy, and like it's supposed to be cute, but I'm just over here like, and I've never been Elend's biggest fan, right? I said straight up earlier in the vlog that I just don't like him, and I still don't. I don't like his character. I don't think he deserves Finn, even though right as they're getting married, he's like, I should have listened to you all along. And it's like, yeah, duh, that's the point. And I get the point that Sanderson is trying to make, but I don't think it was necessary or useful. Even though I don't like him as a character, I can still support Vin and her choices. And like, yeah, girl, you get your man. Like, y'all are cute. But that doesn't mean I like your boy. When the god in Zane's head was like, of course I didn't tell you to kill her. And by the way, you were never insane. I did gasp out loud. And I was like, I knew it. At the same time, that was like the biggest moment to me, and I'm now officially in the Sanderlanche, so everything that continues to happen from here is going to be like a big moment thing, and I'll probably set up the camera so we can record my thoughts, because that's clearly all I'm going to be doing for the rest of the night. I did want to say, guys, I showered, and I changed my clothes. You should be so proud of me. So, after the wedding ceremony, when Sazed tells them about the Well of Ascension and like everything he's learned about it, I'm like very curious to know what all he told them that was a lie and what all he told them that was the truth. I mean, obviously, but I wonder how that's going to impact things moving forward. Also, that whole end to part 5 really felt like it was the end of the book. Like, if this was a YA novel, that would be the end of the book. So now I'm really nervous, like, what is the rest of this book going to be about? Like, clearly it's going to be them trying to escape. Is it going to be the crew in Luthadel, or is it going to be Vin and Elend on their journey, like, starting out? I don't really know. I can finally start to see why this is one of people's favorite series. I really hope book 3 blows me out of the water, because book 1 was mediocre and disappointing. Book 2 has been better, and it has had more of that character development that I've heard so much about, and I really feel like I know a lot of our characters better. Not a lot, maybe just like a handful. I felt like I knew Zane really well. I felt like now I know Elend really well, even though I think he's ridiculous. I know Vin a lot better, and the only other one I can really think of is Breeze. I would say I know Breeze a lot better because we actually get to be inside his head and see like what he goes through as he's like soothing people. Like he goes about his day and he's soothing people, and that was awesome to see, but also helped us get to know him a lot better. I will say something that I like about Sanderson's writing in general is his ability to kind of trick you from what you feel like the normal response should be. So let's talk about Ben and Zane's fight, because I feel like that was a big turning point in this, not only this particular book, but in the story, and just like exploring Ven's power. Because for the most part in this book, everything that Breeze and Ellen and like clubs have been talking about as far as Ven's power, it could all be explained away by the Duralumin. I don't know how you say it. I don't know how you say half the crap in this book. It could be explained away by that, but this fight with Zane, he had it too, because the dog had given it to him. Not the dog. He's not a dog. He's a dog creature. But that does make me like, it now proves that what she has isn't just another alloy. It's actually something different, something that makes her unique. And I'm really, really glad that it wasn't just like she can pull from the mists, her elementic power. Like the fact that that didn't happen twice in a row made me really happy, because that is something that would typically happen. Like she's OP because of these few unique powers that she has, and he turned that on its head and gave the same powers, essentially took one away from her and gave the other to her opponent. So the reason she won was because of her skill and not because of some OP power that she had, and I really appreciate that. So I'm feeling at this point an above average rating of a 3.5. It is not all the way to a 4-star for me, because a 4-star is something that I would recommend to people outside of the fantasy genre. Like if you've never read fantasy before, you should start with this. And I don't think it's that awesome yet. Maybe book 3 will turn it around for me, but if it does, I will always give this caveat, this condition with this series recommendation, that book 1 is not great, book 2 is better, but book 3 makes it worth it. If it does make it worth it. Cheese ball is made. Scotty has gone back downstairs. I got me a Sprite, and we're gonna go eat some cheese and crackers, and we're gonna finish this book. 200 pages, y'all. We are in the Sanderlands. There's so much happening now. So glad we're done with the political intrigue. Like, that's fine in Game of Thrones because you expect it, but I was not expecting that much of it here, and I don't think I really enjoyed it that much. Okay, so I just finished. I did not update at 700 pages, because I felt like we were in the falling action, but I should have remembered that the falling action always has a big thing that happens in it to like prepare you for the next book. And I have to say that the twist I was not expecting, but I'm also not surprised, because most of my favorite booktubers are big Cosmere fans. They've read all of Sanderson's works, they theorize all the time about what's happening in his universe, and they have mentioned things that inform what I just read. So I know like what is happening in the grander context of the whole Cosmere universe. So now I'm just really thinky. And I'm glad he didn't get more than a tear out of me, because I was ready to be pissed, but then I didn't have to be pissed. And I'm glad I didn't get too upset, because then I would have been mad if he tricked me like that. I'm trying to be, I don't want to like spoil the whole ending of the book, even though I've been spoiling up till now. I hope book 3 is better. I hope book 3 gives me the answers that I'm looking for, and I hope book 3 does more than book 2 did. Book 2, I wanted to go outside of the city that we were in, outside of our small problems, and we did a little bit in like the grander scheme of things, but not to the extent that I wanted. So that's where I'm at. I enjoyed my read. I got through this one faster than I did the last one, and I didn't have to stay up till 4 a.m. reading. The way all of the major conflict resolved, I was very satisfied with. Although I do have to say that I knew the answer to their problem on like page 400, and I'm kind of mad that Sanderson did that. He drew it out so long and he put so much suffering in when he didn't have to. If she could have just had a conversation with someone, she would have figured out the solution to their problem. Which bothers me, because then I feel like it's drama for drama's sake, because there's a better option than what you've given me. I need you as the author to give me the best possible option and make it suck, not just make it suck even though there's a better option over there. For like storytelling purposes. I don't know if that makes sense. I still don't like Elend. Sazed is still my favorite character. The people that died in this book I did not care about. And that's where I'm at. I will have to say there were a lot more like holy crap, awesome, brutal murder scenes in this book than in the last one, which I enjoy because they're cool. But they're still the same issues that I had with the first book I had in this book. 3.5, it was better than the last one, but until I read the third book, I can't say what my recommendation level for these books would be. So I'm going to stick at 3.5. I'm learning Sanderson's quirks and his writing style and the things I dislike about it and the things I like about it. So I guess what I'm learning is I'm not really interested in the story, like the storylines that he's telling. I'm vaguely interested in them. Like my interest level is probably at like a 6, which is above average, but it's not like crazy high. What I am super interested in is the greater world and the backstory of like how everything got here. So that's why I'm kind of disappointed as we keep going forward and we're just getting like this much information, and I need like this much information. So that's what I'm really hoping for from the Hero of Ages, is that I'll get my answers. And if I don't, and I have to read the rest of his Cosmere books to find out, I'm going to be pissed. Although I'm probably going to read them anyways, because I have a thing about feeling like I need to be culturally literate. Like I have to know what are big things that are having impacts on our culture, and this is one of them. So I'm probably going to end up reading the rest of his books because they're such a big deal, but I don't know if it's because I'm genuinely interested in the stories that he has to tell or the worlds that he is trying to build, or just to see what everyone's talking about. That's where I'm at. I don't think that I will record again. I will talk about this book some more in my final November wrap-up once I've had some time to kind of process everything that I've just learned and read. But this has been a kind of different vlog. I didn't take a lot of B-roll. I didn't really plan anything out. I just kind of recorded my thoughts as I was reading, and I don't know if that was beneficial or if I should have just waited. I don't know. We'll see once I edit it all together how I feel about it. This has been the Well of Ascension. Thank you guys for watching to this point and listening to me ramble for days about this book and how I feel about it and how I don't feel about it. But that is all I have for you on the topic of the Well of Ascension for the time. Again, look for more thoughts in the November wrap-up. But thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you later. I won't talk to you later. I'll see you later. We're not on the phone. It's a video. Okay, bye.